Hello people of the interwebs, and welcome to the Kaladesh set review. The spoiler has just been released on the Magic Duels official Facebook page and on the forums as well, and we are going to dive right in and talk about each of the cards. I'm going to give you my initial thoughts and feelings upon each card that I see. I'm going to tell you whether I feel that the card will be featured in the OK meta game or whether it won't. Small disclaimer before we begin, please bear in mind that this is just my opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean I am right or I am wrong. I'm just sharing you my initial opinion of cards that I do see. So we are going to kick things off with the white, and we're going to jump right in with Acrobatic Maneuver, which is a 3-casting instant that reads exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control, draw a card. So there are cards like this that already exist in the metagame, and they're not played a whole heap, so I just don't believe that Acrobatic Maneuver will be played. Even though it does have that draw card effect and it replaces itself, I just don't think it's going to be played going forward. So we are going to move on to the next card, which is Aetherstorm Rock, which is a 4-casting 3/3 creature bird with flying. And whenever Aetherstorm Rock or another creature enters the battlefield under our control, we get an energy counter. And whenever Aetherstorm Rock attacks, we may pay 2 energy. And if we do, we put a +1/+1 counter on it and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. Aetherstorm Rock is the very first card that we're seeing with the new mechanic of having energy counters. Now, what energy counters are? They are a one-shot resource. They go on the player, and they are shown in the form of counters that you can use to spend on abilities and spells, very much like Aetherstorm Rock's ability here. Outside of the mechanic of that, I do think that Aetherstorm Rock could be featured in a few of the aggressive strategies. I can see that. I can see those small cases where people will play this. Whether that comes to fruition or not is yet to be seen. But yeah, Aetherstorm Rock is a card I'm going to be paying close attention to. Moving swiftly on to Angel of Invention, which is a 5-casting 2/1 creature angel with flying, vigilance, lifelink. It has Fabricate 2, and whenever this creature enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, or create 2 1/1 color servo artifact creature tokens. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. So Angel of Invention is the first card that we're seeing with the new Fabricate mechanic, which means that there's a Fabricate number, and then we get either that many +1/+1 counters on the creature, or we get that many 1/1 color servo artifact creature tokens. Now, because Angel of Invention has the Glorious Anthem effect, I can see cases where I may want that 4 power and 3 toughness split over 3 creatures rather than on the 1 creature. Though the evasion on this creature makes it very attractive to have it as a 4/3, I think I can see more cases where it's going to be beneficial to have it as a 3-for-1. Because the fact is they're not 1/1s, they are going to be 2/2s because of the Glorious Anthem effect. So I can see more value in that play than the other play. But yeah, I can see Angel of Invention appearing in a few of the mid-range and even aggressive strategies. But outside of that, I don't see being played a bunch. But yeah, I do think we will see Angel of Invention going forward. Moving swiftly on to Avery Mechanic, which is a 2-casting 2/2 creature dwarf artificer. And when Avery Mechanic enters the battlefield, we may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. So we've seen these sort of cards before in other sets, but we've never seen it in this. We haven't seen it like this in some time. The fact that this does not have flash makes it a little bit less attractive for me, because we can't use it to protect a creature. So in that instance, unless there is some sort of blink deck that we're not aware of at the moment, I don't think we're going to see Avery Mechanic, because I think white has better options at 2 mana, and especially as a 2/2, we have Token Freeblade, we have White Night Orchid, just to name a few that are cards that we would pick every time over Avery Mechanic. Yeah, don't think we are going to be seeing it going forward. Moving on to Built to Last, which is a 1-casting instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. if it's an artifact creature, it gains indestructible until end of turn, and indestructible means that damage and effects that say destroy don't destroy it. So built to last. I don't think this card is built to last. I don't think we're going to be seeing it past this review. No, I don't think we're short on any sort of pump spars, and really this is not going to be a thing. The fact that it does save an artifact creature, I guess it's okay, but it's very, very narrow cases, so I don't think built to last is built to last. Like I said before, I don't think it's going to be something we're going to be seeing going forward. We're going to move swiftly on to the next card, which is Captured by the Consulate, which is a forecasting enchantment aura. Enchant creature you don't control. Enchanted creature can't attack. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it has a single target, change the target to enchanted creature if able. I like this card that it can nullify an attack from an opponent and it can redirect spells. That's pretty cool. We don't usually see these things in White. I mean, we've seen cards before in White that have done this, but you know, not being able to attack as well is pretty brutal. I don't think though we will see this. I think we have better options, and I don't think Capture the Consulate will be featured in the upcoming meta. Moving swiftly on to Katamaliskic. Sorry if I screwed that up. Gearhulk. It's a 5 casting, 4/5 artifact creature construct with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents he or she controls and sacrifices the rest. So this is basically a poor man's Tragic Arrogance, because I say poor man's because we're giving our opponent the chance to choose. Yeah, sure, we're going to probably land keeping the 4/5 with vigilance unless there's something better out, but we're giving our opponent the chance to get into the same sort of board state, or even better, by giving them the choice. It's worse than Tragic Arrogance. So because we have access to Tragic Arrogance, I just don't see the White Gearhulk being played in the upcoming meta, I'm afraid. It's not something that we're going to be playing. I'm certainly not playing it over it. So no, I don't think it's going to be featured. We're going to move on to the next card, which is Council's Shield Guard, which is a forecasting 3/4 creature dwarf soldier. And when Council's Shield Guard enters the battlefield, we get 2 energy counters. And whenever Council's Shield Guard attacks, you may pay an energy. If we do, another target attacking creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Honestly, unless there is an energy deck that we can support in this upcoming metagame, I don't see the Shield Guard being played. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to be playable, and it really is only for the for the energy deck, and that's if we need it. So we are going to move on to Fragment Eyes, which is a 1 casting sorcery. Destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted mana cost 4 or less. I don't think this can be played. I mean, outside of what Swansea Tutelage and Feathered Visions, I don't think there's any really problematic enchantments that I can think of outside of those two. I don't think we're in a big rush to sort of deal with those cards either. I don't think they're dominating the metagame or anything. So I don't think Fragment Eyes is going to be a thing, unless obviously there are absolutely some amazing vehicles that are going to dominate games. But outside of that, I just don't see Fragment Eyes being a thing, I'm afraid. I really don't. And that's a shame, because I like his casting cost, it seems pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be a thing. Moving swiftly on to Gearshift Ace, which is a 2 casting, 2/1 creature dwarf pilot with first strike. Whenever Gearshift Ace crews a vehicle, that vehicle gains first strike until end of turn. So dwarves are back in Magic Duels, and some of them are pilots, and they can drive around the vehicles. They give their abilities to those vehicles that they're driving. A 2-mana 2/1 with first strike is okay, I guess. It can be featured in a few of the aggressive strategies, but I'm more interested to see if there is a vehicle deck that this card would be better used in. So yeah, I think it's going to be something I'm going to look at post when it comes in. I was going to say post rotation, but it's no rotation in Duels. Once Kaladesh comes in, it's definitely going to be something I'm going to be looking at. whether there is a vehicle deck going forward. We are going to move swiftly on to the next card, which is going to be Glint Sleeved Artisan, which is a 3 casting 2/2 creature dwarf artificer with Fabricate 1, so that means we get a +1/+1 counter on him, or we create a 1/1 color silver artifact creature token. As he is, I would say I'm more inclined to have the extra creature than making a 3 casting 3/3. I think I'm leaning towards there because I see this guy being played in aggressive strategies. So with that said, I think definitely this card gets featured in every aggressive deck that I'm playing with going forward. It's a 2-for-1, it's so good. You know, I'm paying 3 mana for 2 creatures, which is fantastic. So yeah, I think Glint Sleeve Artisan is going to be a thing post Kaladesh. Moving on to Master Trinket, which is a 3 casting 3/2 creature dwarf artificer. Servos and Thopters we control get +1/+1, and then we can pay 4 mana to create a 1/1 color servo artifact creature token. I'm really on the fence with this card. I want to like it, but I don't think it's going to be a thing unless I'm completely wrong with this. I mean, I can see it being played in probably a vehicle deck, if that's going to be a thing, but I don't know if this is going to be something that even the mid-range deck's going to play. It's a really tricky card to say where it's going to be, but I'm going to say I don't think it's going to be featured. I really don't, unless the vehicle deck is a real thing. So we are going to move swiftly on to the next card, which is Propeller Pioneer. It's a 4 casting 2/1 creature human artificer with flying, and it has Fabricate 1, which means that we get a +1/+1 counter on it, or a 1/1 color servo artifact creature token. 4 mana for 3 power and 2 toughness on 2 creatures or on 1 creature. Either way, I don't like it. I don't think I like this card at all. I don't think it's going to be featured. I really don't. Post rotation, post Kaladesh. Nah, I don't see it being. I don't see it being a thing. I'm not a fan. I'm not on board with this kind of card. I don't like it at all. So we are going to move on to the next card, which is going to be Refurbish, and which is a 4 casting sorcery. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Refurbish, I'm not a fan of this sort of card. I don't think Reanimator is a thing yet, and even when it is a thing, I think there are better cards on Refurbish. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing this card post Kaladesh. I really don't. I think this is going to be sitting in everyone's card collection, not doing much. Moving on to the next card, which is Revoked Privileges. It's a 3 casting enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. So that does a lot for 3 mana. That's pretty good. You know, it completely nullifies the creature out of the game. You know, it's better than pacifism, because pacifism you could still crew that creature. You can't crew it with Revoked Privileges. I don't think we're going to see this post rotation. I keep saying post rotation, please bear with me. Once Kaladesh gets 3, so I don't think we're going to see Revoked Privileges. I just don't. I think we have better removal spells and we have better options available to us. And I just don't think it's a card that we really want to be playing at the moment. So no, I don't think it's going to be a thing. We are going to move swiftly on to the next card, which is Sky Swirl Harrier, which is a 5 casting 3/4 creature bird with flying. Straight up, this is quite an easy card to talk about. There's not much going on with this card. I think there are better options available at that casting cost. I don't think we're going to be playing this. I certainly am not, and I don't think it's going to be a card that is going to be featured, I'm afraid. We're going to move on to the next card, which is Sky Waller's Shot. It's a 3 casting instant. Destroy target creature with power 3 or greater and scry 1. Now to scry 1, we look at the top card of our library and we can either put that on top of our library or on the bottom of the library in any order. So I think Reprisals Day is over and everyone is going to be playing Skywaller Shot. I think the extra mana cost is worth going a power less than what Reprisal can kill, and the fact that we get Scry as well is great. So yeah, I think Reprisals Day is done and this is going to be its replacement. So yes, I do think this is going to be played in the upcoming meta game going forward. I really do think Skywaller Shot is going to be a thing. Moving on to Fragment Eyes, which is a forecasting creature 2/4 creature goat. When it enters the battlefield, we get 2 energy counters, and whenever Fragment Eyes attacks, we may pay 2 energy counters. And if we do, we put a +1/+1 counter on it. So there are a cycle of creatures that are all called thriving throughout each one of the 5 pillars that all pretty much do the same thing. They've all different power and toughness and different things. This one, again, unless there is an energy deck, I don't think I see a 5 and Ibex being played outside of that. So in those narrow cases, we don't know if there is going to be an energy deck going forward, but if there is, this is in it. If there isn't, this is not being played whatsoever. I don't think it is, and it's, as I said, it's too narrow to say. So we are going to move on to the next card, which is Toolcraft Exemplar, which is a 1 casting 1/1 creature dwarf artificer. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control an artifact, Toolcraft Exemplar gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If you control 3 or more artifacts, it also gains first strike until end of turn. So for 1 mana, that does quite a bit if we control an artifact. I mean, yeah, sure, it's very sort of situational, but because we can build our decks in a constructed manner, we can make sure that we have enough artifacts to make sure that this is a 3/1. And if we have Metacraft, which is an old ability, which meant that if we had 3 or more artifacts, we get it to have a first strike. For 1 mana, that's pretty good. You know, I'd say that's pretty good. I am quite excited about this card, and I want to see if it gets played post Kaladesh release. But yeah, I think it will be, and I expect this to be in some sort of artifact deck. It would be most efficient in, obviously, but yeah, I do think Toolcraft Exemplar, we're gonna see you going forward. Moving on to Trusty Companion, which is 2 casting 3/2 creature hyena. It has vigilance, and Trusty Companion can't attack alone. Now, flavor wise, I love what they've done here with this card. I really love what they've done with this card, because obviously hyenas attack in packs. But a 2 mana 3/2 that can't attack until I have another creature isn't where I want to be. I don't like it, and I don't think Trusty Companion is going to be a thing. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be a thing at all. So we move on to the next card, which is Visionary Augmenter. It's a 4 casting 2/1 creature dwarf artificer with Fabricate 2. So that means we either get 2/+1/+1 counters on this creature, or 2 1/1 color servo artifact creature tokens. So for 4 mana, we get 4 power and 3 toughness over 3 creatures. I'm casting this, and I'm doing that every time I'm casting this card. I think it's really good. I think this card is going to be featured a lot in like the aggressive strategies, definitely going to be playing it. The mid-range decks could make a case to play Visionary Augmenter, you know, and those are 2 decks that are legitimate decks in the current metagame in Magic Duels. So yeah, I think Visionary Augmenter is going to be a thing. I think this is a 4 mana 3/1, which is absolutely insane to say the least. So we are going to move swiftly on to the next card. And the next card is the last card, which for white, it is Wisp Weaver Angel, which is a 6 casting 4/4 creature angel with flying. And when Wisp Weaver Angel enters the battlefield, we may exile another target creature we control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. I am not a fan of this card. I don't think it's good enough. I don't. No, I don't think it's good enough. I mean, there's a chance that you can create an infinite loop that two these guys out, but outside of that, I just don't see it being played. I'm afraid I don't see it being a thing. I don't, and that's a shame because I really don't. Yeah, I don't see it being a thing post Kaladesh release. Anyhow, guys, so we've got to the end of the white cards, and I'm just going to give you my overview of what I think. There's a few cards in the white that I really felt that were going to be a thing in the new metagame once Kaladesh releases, and I looked forward to that, seeing those cards. But outside of that, there wasn't much else that grabbed my attention in white. I think there's a lot of filler there and not much business. But anyhow, guys, that is my thoughts of the white for the Kaladesh set review. Join me tomorrow for the blue set. Thank you. Bye bye.